Welcome to the Back to Me podcast, where we help multicultural incoming freshman women and men manage their entire college experience throughout post-graduation to successfully transition into entrepreneurship and corporate workspaces as new hires.
Back to me. Oh, I turned it around. I'm back to me. I finally figured it out. I'm back to me. So when you think you have nothing, back to me. I go back to me. Yeah, I'm back to me.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Yoli Tamu. The spirit of collaboration is needed now more than ever, and it is up to us to explore how we can all benefit in order to thrive in an ever-changing society. In this week's final episode of our 4th annual Divine Nine series, we are joined by Randy Becton Jr., Upsilon Omega Chapter Initiate of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Known to many as the Slauson Activist, Randy is a dedicated community outreach coordinator and child development specialist from South Central Los Angeles. Currently, he is majoring in education technology at California State University, Northridge. As the program coordinator for Black Scholars Matter at CSUN, find out why he believes alternative online curriculums will serve as an engaging and productive alternative to the K-12 school system, and why it's important for everyone to reflect on a personal mission statement that will benefit all communities as a result of the recent election. Enjoy. We are closing out this Divine Nine series in a real serious way. Oh my goodness, I met this person. I'm so excited to introduce you all to Mr. Randy Becton Jr. How you doing?
Great. Pleasure to meet you. You know, it's always that one iota.
Yes, to wrap it on up.
Definitely.
Fantastic. So you are representing the Upsilon Omega chapter, and you're an initiate of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Yes?
Yes.
So glad to have you.
All 23.
All 23. Hey now. Okay. So yeah, it's such an honor, and I'm so glad that Demarie sent you to us. So shout out to him and your frat brother, and thank you for being with us. So I always like to start with, motivations and what kind of drove you to where you are today. And I know that you're currently a student or a grad student, right?
Yes. So I'm currently a grad student at CSUN. I'm majoring in education technology. And part of it is what drove me to actually joining Iota Phi Theta. I've been in the service. I've been in education for the last 10 to 12 years. I would say partially a part of it is social work due to COVID. So a lot of that was outreach after COVID. And through those endeavors of working at the middle school at the Boys to Men Enrichment Program with the Time Foundation, those community service and that community led me to make the decision to wanting to give service in a brotherhood and make sure that I was continuing to work after I took on different positions. Because more so like now as a program coordinator for Black Scholars Matter, I don't do as much hands-on work with students that I would like instructional stuff. And I'm able to do that through the frat and able to make those connections with college students and connect our history, the frat's history, and our community service together.
Mm-hmm. You're so humble. I mean, you're doing major things in Los Angeles, and we're going to get to them. You're so humble.
Oh, thank you.
So I love that. But you say education technology. So I love that you're a Black man entering education. We started the series off with our alpha who's pursuing education, and now you are wrapping it up. We're closing it out with a Black male educator. I love that. So when we say education technology, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to be online? You're going to do curriculum online? What does that mean?
Yes, most definitely. It's how we could take our curriculum and turn it online. So I was a part of a unique program because we were working along. Now, most of the programs worked with BSAP, Black Student Success Plan. And prior to that, because we were established in 2002, I've been with the program since 2012 up to 2021. And this is before the BSAT, the Black Student Achievement Plan, was in progress. So we were a unique nonprofit working alongside the charter school and LAUSD to keep our operation going, where we taught Black history. Malcolm X, I have a Malcolm X tattoo here.
Wow.
And Che Guevara for our Chicano students, and I have a Che Guevara tattoo there. So we were a unique Black and Chicano history program that was focused on behavior modification, exclusive for boys, branched into having young girls, which were the sisters of Boys to Men. And due to the fact that it's not so many of us that are my age as well. So I started when I was 21, and the professionals that we need to have the relationships with our kids in the inner city is not always readily available. So being online and seeing what we could do via Zoom, and now seeing what we could do with using technology so that we can make these relationships is what I felt like was necessary in a way to multiply us who want to do service, but it spread it too thin because it's not enough of us to do the work. So yes, it's learning how to teach in this box right here, what we doing right now with Zoom, and help students assess their knowledge, their observable knowledge through different technologies.
And I mean, they say that by 2026, there's going to be a lot of people teaching online. So you are right on target and aligned with where education is going. It's convenient for so many people. And, homeschooling is on the rise. So people are leaving the school system anyway. So this is great.
Yes, yes. I think it would help a lot of students early on get into research without having to go through the K through 12 system. And then portfolios, progress, teaching others is a great way of learning. So that's a big part of education technology for students to be able to reflect on their learning in their own words. Take Instagram, make it a little bit more special.
Now on IG, you're known as the Slauson Activist. That's why I said you're humble, because you've been in these streets.
Yeah, so I LLC'd it too, so it's my limited liability company as well.
Okay.
So Slauson Activist was the online media consulting firm. It was me using the skills that I'm learning now in graduate school professionally before I came to graduate school. So I did 3 different documentaries during COVID. I've made relationships that I would have not have made if it wasn't for the camera. And that allowed me to have partnerships to host events. So yeah, it's a great tool that I use with the teaching.
3 documentaries. What are the titles of these documentaries?
Oh, so the first one was one on gang prevention called Afraid, and it was more about masculinity and gang prevention. And the second one was Exposed, which was about Black women and breast cancer. And then the last one was Fatherhood the Best Hood, about parenting in the urban community, taking priority over our associations to our communities so that our kids could go to the park and play. And what's funny is that's what kind of brought me to joining Iota Phi Theta, because I was such a one-man nonprofit. I had a nonprofit that I no longer have called Be the Hero. That I think with all my prevention and addressing male issues, forgot that I went to college. I kind of just blended in with the community. They just felt like, he's over there with all the gangbangers. They all gangbangers. So joining the frat, and it kind of reassociate me with my scholarship if I'm doing a lot of community outreach, because I blend in with the community at this point. But I mean, we talked about it. Your voice is so powerful and it's so valuable because you have the experience of growing up in an area with a background that a lot of young people can relate to. And then you have the college experience. And I understand some of your keynotes going into a deep conversation, almost like shocking conversation to get their attention, right? Pretty much those keynotes. So you're doing some powerful things. Now, what stood out for me was what you just said, the fatherhood, the best hood. I thought that was amazing. And we definitely need to hear more that there are men in our community that are definitely making it, a very important thing to be a positive father. So can you tell us about fatherhood, the best hood? It's possibly a consequence of Facebook that the dads can't run off anymore. So we all came back. Okay. Because our whole generation, to credit our generation brought back the Black father. And unfortunately, I was a single father during undergraduate. So super non-traditional student. It wasn't a lot of support. It's not many men that share that they're single fathers. So it wasn't a community out there. So I saw a community that I needed, and I had to create one. I had to reach out to see which other brothers would meet up with me and their kids and just have communion with our kids. And I ended up, as a consequence, getting a lot of support from the Black women of our community. They helped me apply to food stamps when I was an undergraduate. They taught me the system of being a single mom and taught me the patience of leaning on your village. So I always joke, being that I was also a child development major, that I got an opportunity to empathize with baby mamas in a real way and be a part of that community. So now I kind of understand when, some of the angst that our sisters have to us brothers. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And for you to say that you weren't just focused solely on the men, even though, that was the original purpose, you expanded it to women. That's powerful. I mean, you even told me that you had proms for moms.
Yes. So we did a prom for moms
Mhm.
because a lot of the moms that I went to Compton High School, so it was a class of moms who didn't get to go to their prom because they was having their first baby. Now that they're in their 30s, that baby's like 13. You have a baby at 17, that baby's grown. Them mamas in their 30s that has some 17-year-old babies, they done snapped back. So they ready. They ready to come and throw away them old prom pictures or start new ones. So it's something that we want to do annually. Haven't done it this year, but next year we definitely look forward to doing that.
That's so cool. And so, as you said, you're at CSUN and you're program coordinator of the Black Scholars Program. So, tell us about that program. I think it's about mentorship, is what you told me for the most part.
So it's actually an opportunity for students that are going to Birmingham Charter School, Taft High School, and Hamilton High School to have a built-in community where Black scholars are able to come to CSUN with priority registration, their own counselors for mental health, and many services that is exclusive for those who are in the program to be successful throughout college. They have their U100 course, which is the course that kind of teach you to navigate the college campus. That's designed in Afro M. So it's a class for new college students, but it's a special course for new college students that are under the Black Scholars Matter umbrella. So we're on cohort 4. We have 3 cohorts here at CSUN, and it's great. It's a great opportunity. If students do not qualify for financial aid, Black Scholars Matter does cover their tuition. So it's a scholarship opportunity that's embedded in the program. CSUN is partnered with the program, so they do a lot of making sure that the program has its funding. However, Black Scholars Matter is something that's unique. Every Friday, they have an empowerment session with guest speakers, with all the staff from every department having one on one conversation with these students. They go outside of the classroom to different states, travel, whatever you would think that you would need so that a scholar could be successful. Black Scholars Matter is here to provide that in that conversation.
That's so powerful because when you told me that it's sort of like walking them through their whole journey, they're not just there.
Holding their hand.
Yes, holding their hand. They're not just introduced to a program and said, "Okay, figure it out." You're walking through the whole journey through college. That's amazing. Because here we serve that incoming freshman and that emotional anxiety of transition, that's who's really to us. And then that postgraduate heading out. The transition of life is a whole journey. you know? So for you to be hand holding them when they get in there, this is good for our listeners to hear that these types of programs exist, especially for our young Black students and what's going on in the world. So thank you. Thank you for
Definitely. And then you get a relationship with the department chair of Africana Studies here. Our department chair is Dr. White, and she is also the founder and CEO of Black Scholars Matter on campus.
fantastic. Well, Dr. White, incredible, incredible program. This is great. So now you were also telling me about all of these incredible things, the documentary and the nonprofit work. And Sandy Hook was a project that you mentioned you were.
Oh yes, yes, yes. So I was a part of the Sandy Hook project where we went throughout LUSD doing assemblies on gun prevention, suicide, and threats from the time Sandy Hook was here in 2017 all the way up into the end of 2019.
Wow. And what did that program entail? What did you all do?
So we did these all school assemblies, anywhere from 400 to 4,000 students, and we equipped them with the tools of being able to try to prevent any mass school shooting. See something, say something, start with a hello. I always had this one joke that I use that the only time it's probably inappropriate to see somebody alone and say hi is that next stall in the bathroom. That would probably be the time that you need to not say hello. But if you see them at lunch or through the hallways, it's good to be familiar with all faces so that, when people feel like they need help, they feel confident to lean on each other because you don't want to see a nihilistic person in a dark alley, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And so with all this work that you're doing and pouring into so many people, how are you taking care of you? What does that look like?
Yes. So my boundaries are set, non-negotiables. I'm the only person in my family who haven't been on a 5150 hold. I come from a single mother. I have a high A score of 7. So my sleep is a necessity, making sure that I went to the gym before I take on my job because I do have a job in social welfare. So for me to be able to take on the stress of the students and colleagues, I make sure that I work out every day. Probably the only time that I probably would take a day off is if I'm being super available to my kids. Cause even then I try to wake up before they wake up to go get like a morning run in. And having friends and family that I could talk to, making sure that I had that person. And then if something is too consistently a trigger, a stressor, I'm not in a position due to my high adverse childhood experiences to participate in something that might be chronic. So I don't trust myself enough to stick around stressors.
And see, that's courageous for you to even say that, you're still aware of your triggers and all that you do. You're a leader, you're a mentor, you're out there counseling, but you're still aware of your own triggers and you have a certain habit or habitual lifestyle that you keep up with to make sure you're okay.
Yes, I honestly think those who do a lot of service, they feel more offended when they go through certain type of stress or certain type of chaos. That it's just good to not believe that you could just do everything and not to take it personal. We're just a vessel, but we're not the cause.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you talked about community and family. So here we are for this Divine Nine series, and you're representing the Iotas. So can you tell us, what drew you to them, and maybe what are some of those advantages for somebody who's might be thinking about in joining your organization?
Yes. So I think everything that I said up to this point is why Iota Phi Theta was the frat that I chose because I'm a non-traditional student. This is not no shade to the other fraternities or the other D9, but I'm not a legacy. I'm a first generational college student. I'm associated with a very unique problem that I'm addressing in a real way that traditions that are outdated and associations with certain people wouldn't be a priority to me. The only association with a group that would have been a priority to me is community service. The individual person bringing their talents and skills to an organization to really want to do the work, and a group of individuals who saw a challenge or saw a problem and decided to all band together to resolve it. And when I looked at each mission statement, to me, it sounded like Iota Phi Theta was the one that was best fitting due to them being founded in 1963 during the Civil Rights Movement. The history that you're associating yourself with these fraternities should reflect on who you are as a person and who you see yourself becoming. A lot of us that are adults, and another reason why I joined IOTA was it was founded by non-traditional students, students who had kids, students who were in the military, students who were older. I started college when I was 21, undergrad, and I felt like the mission and the history made more sense in alignment of who I was as a person. And I wasn't really interested in joining to have a connotation of myself. I was more interested in a fraternity that I can make a connotation of because I've joined.
Mhm.
And hopefully that those who join after me and are followers of me are as diligent of workers in the community, leaders, and problem solvers. That's how I came to being one iota. Now I get to be the only iota everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go, huh? Well, I know at least 4 of you guys. It's our 4th annual, so I know at least 4 of y'all.
Yes, yes. You bring one of us to each college campus.
Oh, wow. And that's probably true, huh? Sigma Gamma Rho, same thing. I think you guys are smaller chapters on some of these campuses for sure.
Yeah. Yes, yes, especially on the West Coast.
Non-traditional. So you said non-legacy. So how were you introduced to the organization? Were there friends of yours that kind of told you about it? How did you even know?
During COVID, it was a stressful time. So when I went outside to do the food giveaways, the brothers that was there that was helping passing out the food were IOTAs. And that relationship turned into me submitting my interest because, I've successfully have raised my daughter to the point where she can make a decision to which parent she would like to stay with. And I have the time now to dedicate myself to the frat. When I was in undergrad, being a single parent, especially of a little girl, I would have been cheating a lot of my obligations And, I had to really get set in my anxieties of being a single dad to a little girl in diapers. So, because that's something different to change. I've never had to experience that. I've learned that you have to wipe from the front to the back. We don't do that as men. Yeah.
Dad,
So,
yes, Dad.
yes. Yeah. So, Iota was the perfect landing space for me to grow and thrive.
That's so cool. So speaking of your daughter and her future, we just came through this election.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Where are you at? Did you vote? How about that? Let's start there.
Yes. So, I definitely vote. I voted like a Californian.
Mhm.
And
Like a Californian, does that mean you're a blue voter? What does that mean?
yes, yes, that mean I'm very blue and liberal. I think that's a part of our field in social work and education. We're going to be real blue and wanting to help others. But Donald Trump, he shares the sentiments of America, and he is a great bookmark of where we are in history and a reminder of what 2020 was up to 2024 and what 2025 to I believe he would be coming in 2025 and leaving 2029. Yes. So I think the association of who he is as a person allows us to really understand where we are as a country. And wherever you fall on that spectrum, you should reflect on what kind of mission statement you're going to have during his stay in office.
So that's good. What is your mission statement? Everybody better start crafting their own now. That's a positive statement.
Yes, 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 yes. It's great to know that we have another Shirley Chisholm because we already had a black female president or black female nominee with Shirley Chisholm. However, that's a great reminder that black men are okay with black women leading as well.
Yeah.
The black man voted for Kamala Harris. We raised by single moms. I don't think we have any problem listening to a woman. So let's see if that trickles down and we don't have too many gender wars.
Right. This silliness. So let this be a mission for us to come together as communities. How about that?
Yes, that's the only way. I think the election will let us know that if we do want someone like Kamala Harris to be in office, it's not about just men and women coming together, but also about us reaching out to some of these other races and seeing how our sentiments connect and how our history connect and seeing how we could get on one accord to have a similar mission where we all benefit. Being an Iota and being such a new member of Divine Nine, many times here on the West Coast, we're more open and more likely to go work with like a Latino frat or Latino sorority due to the idea of just where can we see fit to make the mission come to life.
That's true. What you're saying is that we're definitely those that will reach out to other communities. But I also consider this a time or a reminder for some that, we've been divided within our own communities for a long time. Like you said, these gender wars need to stop because we need each other. So maybe sometimes we have to experience these types of things to be reminded, let's come together.
Yeah.
This is going
Yes.
to force us to come together. We're going to create a mission together based on what you're saying.
Yes. Well, I mean, in history, two countries who are at war will come together if they could find a bigger enemy.
There it is. Well, this has been very powerful. And I'm thinking for that listener, would you encourage them to continue to vote in every election? That their vote still counts for those that didn't vote this way or the Republican way?
Most definitely, I will encourage them if they want to make a difference to go to those swing states and take their blue vote where the red votes were and make those red states more blue. And if you want to get there on like the micro level of wanting to introduce some activism, go and facilitate those states and see if you could change the minds where the minds saw Donald Trump to be a great representation and vice versa. If you vote red, come to some of these blue states and see if you can have these conversations for us to accept and be happy to be under Donald Trump leadership. I would love to go red and see how I would benefit, see if we could find a middle harmony there. So
Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. So this has been really great. And like I said, it's been an honor to speak to you and to meet you. And I thank you for your yes for coming on our podcast. And I always wrap up with these words of encouragement for our young people. And you emphasize non-traditional. You're a non-traditional student. So for that non-traditional student that's listening, what are some words of encouragement for them that they're simply trying to decide if even college is the pathway or just words of encouragement for their journey in life, the non-traditionalists?
You might feel other, however, other is a group. There's somebody out there that's other too. And find your tribe, find your community, find those who are sharing your same struggles and do it together. Do not go through this life as an island. You do not have to do this alone. Reach out to your community, reach out to your mentors, and find the group in which help you become a better you. All fraternities are designed around the same mission: community, scholarship, citizenship. And the one that you choose, let it be the one that you feel like is a representation of who you are as a person, who you want to see as a person, and what mission that you would like to move forward.
That's good. Well, this has been a fantastic way to wrap up this series. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. So if they want to reach out to you, where can they go? Send them to IG or to LinkedIn? Where would you like people to go?
Instagram is always the best business card.
Yes.
So Slauson Activist, and you'll find me there. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, Randy Becton Jr., and I'm open to being that community for anyone. And hopefully see more of the students who might watch this come to CSUN, get some more Black scholars on campus.
That's right. All right. Well, I appreciate you, and I'm going to talk to you very soon. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. So as you pursue your dream career, remember to find a way to advocate for the community that raised you. For more information about other episodes, remember to subscribe to the Back to Me podcast, College and Beyond. I'm your host, Yoli Tamu. Leave a review at the end of this podcast. And if you would like to learn more about other special events, join the Back to Me podcast group available now on GroupMe, or simply text Back to Me to 833-206-4565. Until next time, be well.
Back to me.